Hey guys, it's Impractical Gaming, and not too long ago, President Trump said that he plans to impose a 25% tariff on all video game consoles coming from China. Now, for those of you who don't know what tariff is, it's basically a tax on imports coming from outside the country, which means that they would be more expensive than domestic goods, aka video game consoles that are made within the country. Now, this can be good for domestic companies who make video game consoles, but the problem is, consoles are kind of hard to make, especially when the infrastructure has already been set overseas. To try and pick that all up and bring that into America will be very difficult. Needless to say, this will have awful ramifications on the video game industry in America, because a lot of the parts that are needed to make these consoles are all from outside the country. However, in response to this, Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo have all done a sort of joint brothers-in-arms response to Trump, with a 7-page letter detailing all the issues that they have with this tariff. And I'm going to go over all the main points of that in this video, but if you want to read it for yourself, then I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below. They start off by saying that this tariff would injure consumers, video game developers, retailers and console manufacturers, put thousands of high-value rewarding US jobs at risk, and stifle innovation in our industry and beyond. Now, these are pretty bold statements to make, which I don't entirely disagree with, because if you make the consoles more expensive than they already are, it will deter gamers from purchasing them, which obviously makes it harder for devs because they have less platforms for them to show off their games. I also understand the lack of innovation in the industry, probably from a hardware standpoint more than anything else, because if costs get too high, well then you have to move manufacturing elsewhere, which means you can suffer from graphics and sound quality amongst other things because you just don't have the parts, which again harms devs and ultimately harms us as consumers because we don't get the high quality games that we're looking for. They then go on to talk about how much money the video game industry makes in America and how video game consoles are a very complex product, because all of these companies have operations in America and the industry makes like over $40 billion. So by going through with this tax, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit. I feel like Trump assumes it's easy to make video games when it's not. It's very difficult, especially for devs who have to port and design games for a range of different platforms, all with custom hardware as well. So to think that you can just be like, oh, we can just do that here, is kind of a ridiculous idea. The problem with this tariff is, it's specifically on video game consoles, i.e. the source of how many of us play video games, of which most of us, if not all of us, have at least one console in our household. And you know how gamers are, we are very price conscious when it comes to consoles, because of course we are. It's a very big investment for the next 4 to 5 years, and not every one of us can splash the cash like that. Now of course we'll make every effort to do so, but by going through with this tariff, you're kind of alienating a large portion of the gaming world and making it harder for us to enjoy the games we love when it's already hard enough as it is. They end the letter by talking about how this could delay technological innovation, which I already spoke about earlier, and how this wouldn't solve the problem of, in their words, China's problematic IP practices. Now, what I understand by this is that they don't think this will solve the problem of being done by copyright or trademark by Chinese video game consoles being made within China. Now, the problem is, China only made a games console as recent as 2016, and it didn't really sell well, so there's not really any incentive to steal any intellectual property. Again, as mentioned before, video game consoles are very complex, and Sony, Nintendo and Microsoft are better off investing in their own ideas and in technologies from trusted companies that they've worked with before, rather than looking elsewhere. So all in all, this tariff might not be the best idea that Trump's had. I mean, it takes a lot to get the 3 biggest rivals in the industry to kind of band together and speak up for the future of gaming. Now, they could move manufacturing to other countries to try and avoid this tariff. However, with 2020 being such a huge year for gaming in general, this would put serious delays on consoles like Project Scarlet and the PS5. Hopefully Trump sees some sense of what they said. But it's Trump, so no chance of that happening. That's it from me. If you enjoyed, then leave a like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.